Welcome to our midweek Bible class. This is Thursday, and we're doing the epistle. It comes from 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 8. But your faith in God has gone forth everywhere, so we need not say anything. It is one of my hopes as a minister that I help my congregation and you, if you're listening, that aren't a member of my congregation, that'd be very nice, is to see that Christianity is more of a verb than a noun, and that we do things and live our lives out. And when people see us, they go, well, I've heard the rumors, I've heard the scuttle, I've heard what's wrong with them, but I know these people, and they are good people, they're loving people, they're kind people. They are people who reflect the love of God in their actions. That's the hope. The kind of the classic is talk is cheap is probably more true than we like to admit. During the American Civil War, General Jackson was going to cross a river it's the Valley Campaign is what it was. And he was having a very large army to cross the river. So he calls together his transportation corps as well as his engineers. And he tells them, we got to figure out a way to cross this river. And so they left, and the engineers, they went into their tent, and the wagon masters called the people together. The next morning, General Jackson asked what was going on there, and they said, well, in truth, we've crossed the river already. And he goes, how'd he do it? And he goes, the wagon masters, they got the people together, built the bridge, and crossed the river already. And he goes, well, what about my engineers? And he goes, they're still in their tent, drawing up the plans for the bridge that they plan to build. We Christians do not need to fall into the category of a lot of talk and blather and never really getting to the meat of doing. Paul tells us that the people of Thessalonia, they knew the Christians. In fact, the region knew the Christians. They were known for who they are and what they said, to the fact where they didn't even have to proclaim. They just had their actions speak for them. How does your actions speak for you? Now, I'm sure on Sunday morning, or if you're watching online worship right now because of the pandemic, you are very much, your heart is turned to Jesus and all is good and right. And that is good. But as a pastor, I've always been much more concerned about how you are living your life on Tuesday afternoon. Are you showing love and compassion? Or do the people that you work with wouldn't even know that you are a Christian? And even if they didn't know the word Christian, what is your reputation? So if at a later date they find out you're a Christian, would they say, well, that makes sense, or really? I'm surprised. Now, every Christian has gone through growth, including myself. It is not as if when I grew up in high school, everyone went and said, well, that man one day is going to be a minister. In fact, honestly, I get a lot more of, I wouldn't have believed it until I saw it. But I did grow, and I've grown and become a man who hopefully shows Christ in all that I do, or try to at least. And I kind of expect the same of all of our members of our churches. Who are you today does not mean that's who you are tomorrow. And as you grow, one of the things is not only to have the right words, but the right actions, the right compassion. This is hard for people. And it will be hard for you as well. It's hard for me. But the church truly does grow when people look around and see the church doing what Christ has called it to do. To love, to forgive, to serve, to proclaim, to have faith and hope in Christ, to trust in God and God alone. These are the things that will mark us. And I promise you, as you live your life in faith, not only is your life better, but surprisingly, the people around you, their life will be better too. Blessings on you this week.